Johnson, driver of the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet, currently sitting fourth in points with 3 wins so far this season. Jimmie, talk a little bit about being in Richmond here this weekend and how important the race is here tomorrow night.
Yeah, excited to be at this racetrack. It puts on such a great show and seems to be a favorite amongst a lot of the drivers and certainly for the fans. I'm also happy to not be coming to this event needing a spot in the chase. It's always a goal for myself and the team starting the year. A lot can happen on a short track, and I've watched my friends go through some stressful evenings here, and I'm glad to not have to worry.
We'll open up for questions for Jimmie. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start in the back with Joe, then go to Melinda. Joe, yeah.
Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, everybody's talking about the wild card situation and how crazy that could be, but what will it mean if you could get that 4th win, and how important is that at the top end of the chase field, getting the highest seeding that you could get?
Yeah, highest seeding and max points would be key. I mean, I want to take in every point that I can of the chase, and missed out on a few opportunities here of late, and would love to get a few more to take in with me. And then the momentum it would give the team is very useful too. It's a great shot in the arm for everyone.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Melinda.
Hey, Jimmie, Melinda Adams, ESPN. In the years that you finished second in the chase, did you find that it inspired you, or did it sort of, let you down, or it was fuel for your fire for the next year?
Yeah, no, 4. To lose by so few points to Kurt was a tough one. We overcame a lot that year. That's the year of the plane crash and all the momentum we had in the closing events and closing the gap and being a contender at the final race. Early in the race, things went our way. Kurt had some bad luck, and we're sitting in a great position. It just felt like it was meant to be. And then when the checkered fell, it wasn't. So there were moments through that experience that made me stronger today. And but I feel like 2005, we went into Homestead with a good chance to race Tony for the championship, and had a tire issue, and that off season was probably the best off season, or the best period of time for the 48 team. It wasn't the most fun. I mean, there were some hard meetings, which everybody knows about, the milk and cookies meeting and all that went on during that off season, but that was the most productive period of time for the 48 team from a championship standpoint, and got us going.
Okay, we'll go Holly, Jeff, and Tom. Need a mic to Holly right here. Right here, please. Thank you.
Holly Kane, NASCAR.com. Jimmie, I wanted to ask you about one of your teammates, and I know you guys are starting to size up what the chase is going to look like. How competitive do you see Casey being for the championship this year? He's really starting to get things going. Definitely a confidence about him towards being legitimately contending for the championship that we haven't seen in years from him. If you could just speak about how you see his chances to actually be a contender this year.
Yeah, I see him being pretty high. One, I know he and Kenny and his team much better than any other year, because we're teammates, and I know how good they are and how capable they are of winning races in the championship. But the thing that comes to mind first is that at the end of seasons, we see a lot of speed out of those guys. When he was at Red Bull, when he's been at it was a red car. What was that team back then? Evernham, Petty, there's multiple names that it had. So that whole era, they've always ended the season very well. So one, they build and get stronger all year. Second part of that, I think, is the tracks are very good for KC2. So if we can get him in the chase, I know he'll be a great bullet in the gun for Rick.
And on a completely different note, I wanted to ask, I've been asking a lot of the drivers, what is the biggest surprise to you in terms of the guys that are really fighting tooth and nail to get into this chase? Is it Jeff? Is it Carl after the year he had last year? Is it Kyle? What is the biggest surprise to you of the guys that are really, having a rough go here trying to get in?
Man, I'm torn between all 3. Those 3 would be guaranteed locks in my mind. If I were to sit down at the start of the year and write out the 10 locks, I would have those 3 in there. So those 3, period, are all tied for the big moment, I think.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from SBNation.com. I'm wondering, compared to past years when you've come into Richmond and you're on the verge of the chase, and obviously you've had multiple championships in some of them, How does this feeling compare? Like, how does the vibe on your team right now compare to the years you won the championship? I mean, do you feel that feeling again? I mean, is it going to happen again?
I feel really good. I think our performance on track shows that. We hadn't had the results for the last couple of weeks where we were running on the racetrack, but I feel really, really good about our cars and also the 10 tracks in the chase. You know, they're the best 10 tracks that I have. So, you know, Atlanta's been hit or miss for us. Richmond's been hit or miss, but I know the tracks coming up, you know, starting at Chicago, I'm always fast there. And, you know, Loudon, we get Dover, Martinsville, you know, Charlotte. There's a great lineup of racetracks for the 48 team, and I feel really good about things.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Tom. Then we got a question in the back.
Hi, Jimmy. Tom Jensen, Speed.com. Denny Hamlin's won the last 2 races. He's really good here. Could well win a third. With the chase coming up, how much attention do you pay to that? How much concern do you have? Or are you focused solely on what you're doing?
No, I'm definitely aware of chasers winning races, and what Denny has done over the last couple of weeks has been spectacular. And I've thought about it on my way up here. This is a great track for him, and he has a very good chance of winning here tonight. I think, or tomorrow night. And then I put Kyle in that category too. It's been such a strong track for him, and it would lock him in. He would have more bonus points going into the chase. So I'm more than anything, I'm just aware of where chasers are finishing. And another example of that is at Michigan when we had our issue. A fellow chaser won. It just was tough to pass those points along to another chase competitor, you know. So I'm very aware of that.
Okay, we got a question in the back right here, and then we'll come back over to Brian.
Jimmy, Mark Davis, NBC 12 in Richmond in the back here. When you get to this point and you're locked in already, I know that a lot of guys is exciting because they're going for the chase, but are you guys kind of chomping at the bit to get started? I know you like Richmond, I know you like racing here, but are you guys ready to get going into that final 10 races?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it depends on where you're running. After we won Indy and went to Pocono, Michigan, you know, I couldn't wait for the chase to start. You know, you have momentum on your side. Everything's running well. I still feel that way myself personally, but I can imagine that the 11 team right now is like, yes, let's get this started. They're coming off of 2 wins. Momentum's on their side. So it really depends on where you're at. If you're struggling, you may want a little bit more time, a few more weeks to work on your stuff and try to get it right. But regardless of what anybody wants, it's here. You know, it starts next week and it's on.
Okay, we'll go Brian, then over to Bob.
Jimmy, Brian Nelson, Motor Racing Network. Similar, but what's the attitude this week heading in, knowing that, you know what, there are no consequences really beyond this week? You're not, if you wreck a car, providing you're not going to use that car in the chase further down the road, I mean, there are very few consequences. You can go out and try to get those bonus points. Is that an attitude you bring into this? Is the car that you're using this weekend something that you want to use further down into the chase, or what's your...
I mean, it's kind of within reason situation and a balancing act. You know, if it's 5 to go and you crash racing for the win, you chalk that one up and say, hey, we're racing for the win and we didn't have anything to lose. But if you're running 15th, 50 laps in the race and crash, you know, it has the opposite effect, and you're pretty frustrated about things at that point. But of course, the top priority is to win and take any reasonable risk to win, but a strong finish here is really important too. I mean, to finish in the top 3 or top 5, you know, that's the mindset you want in the chase, and it's just a good practice to get into, and a mindset from inside the car, calling the race, pit stops. You know, top 5 is really, really important.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Bob, then come back over to Stan.
Bob Parker, Sporting News. I'll assume that you heard about the rule change or clarification that came out yesterday to the bushings. Is it a big deal, or are you guys already kind of anticipating what NASCAR might do, and even if it comes, you know, a week before the chase, you guys are prepared to handle it?
Well, I think you mentioned clarification. I think NASCAR made it known that they're just putting parameters on what's going on, so there is no change. It's just what it is and what it has been. And if there are rule changes, we'll adjust and do our best job. You know, there's been a lot of discussion about it, but to add to the conversation, a lot of people are focused and think that it's just Hendrick or just big teams that have been, you know, working in this area. I was in a conversation with Phil Parsons last week, you know, smaller team, they've been doing this for a while. They've adjusted. They've been working on the rule book to get to this point too. So, the field migrates quickly in certain directions, and I think NASCAR is just making sure that people understand the parameters so that they can regulate in post-race and find ways to make sure no one's going above and beyond.
Okay, we'll take our next question here from Stan.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Tomorrow night, from the moment the green flag falls, what's more important, for you to win a race or for you to do everything to ensure that Jeff Gordon can make the chase?
Win a race. That's just how it is. I mean, we're teammates. We do everything that we can, but I'm not interfering with anything on the racetrack to get a teammate in the race. It's just bad karma, bad ethics, bad everything that it never would cross my mind. I mean, of course, I'll give him room, and if he's better than me, and I don't want him to beat up his tires passing me. I mean, there's things that there's a common flow on the track that I will always respect with teammates. But outside of that, I'm not playing a hand in fate. There's no way.
Okay, final 2 questions, guy in the back, and then we'll come back up to Nate.
Hey, Jimmy. Luke Krumpetich, Sports at Work. Question about Talladega in the chase. You've crashed out of all 3 restrictor plate races so far this year. Do you have any special plans for how to make it to the end at Talladega?
I heard NASCAR was considering dropping that track from the chase, so I'm thrilled about Talladega being off the schedule, or the points not counting. How about that? That would be good. Well, the odds are against me based on our finishes, but eventually we got to finish one, so hopefully it's this fall race and it's a good position.
Okay, final question. Go ahead, Nate.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Actually, just 2 quick ones. First, am I hearing you right about the new NASCAR change? It's not really a rule change, so is it not going to affect anything you guys are already doing? Is that kind of what you're saying? It's not going to affect anything in your cars?
Darby spoke about it earlier today to some folks, and it's just a clarification of the rule to better define it. Is what's
So you guys
going on
won't be
there.
changing anything
No.
on your cars. The second thing is, how much are you viewing the chase this year as maybe not a second chance, but a way to sort of prove that last year was a fluke that you guys didn't win the championship? I mean, are you guys coming into this like as a way to sort of prove that you're still the top dog and can be dominant again?
I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that. Last year we just got beat. I wouldn't necessarily put it in the fluke category that we lost. I think we had a fighting chance coming into Charlotte mathematically, and we were on pace with what was going on. But the way Tony closed out the year, and you just look at our performance versus the 14, we would have been beat. So there's years you get beat. It's part of it. And we've been very fortunate to win a lot of championships and to, have people think in that mindset. But, man, it's a tough world. And you know it as well. It's a tough world. You got to earn everything that you get. And things don't last forever. And we're not counting on our history in the 5 straight to give it, make us be a shoo-in for this year. It's really about going out there and earning it. And I think that what we've done on the track over the summer months here has shown people that, proven to people that we're a legitimate threat. Now it's time to go out there and get to work.
Jimmie, thank you for your time. Good luck this weekend.